I'm Emily.
And welcome back to What the Flock, the super fun podcast for our knitting shop, Get Flocked. We're based in Christchurch, New Zealand. I'm obviously not from here, I'm from Hokitika. And Emily and I are thrilled to bring you our little podcast today.
Yes.
What are we up to today? What are we going to tell the people about?
Well.
You've got cute new glasses. I've got cute glasses, but they're not new though.
Wow. Lots of things.
Yeah, no, we actually have a ton going on.
Yeah.
We started our Alpine Bloom and Ewe Rock knit-alongs, both in the Flock online and in store last night, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people will love to see your colors and what's going on with that. Talk a little bit about what we're both working on right now, and tell you a little bit more about what's going on here until the end of the year and some little hints of next year. And then I think we have some cute new yarn combos for what I'm currently knitting to show you.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, they'll also be perfect for the much maligned love note. If you're insistent upon making one, we do have some ideas for that. I don't recommend this, but you should do what you want. Okay, perfect. If you could do us a favor and hit the subscribe button down below and hit the like button on this and leave us a comment. And we are trying to get better at replying to comments, and we're really grateful for all of you being here. So please subscribe, tell your friends about us, and we're gonna be right back to talk about what we're knitting. We're back. Emily,
yes.
What are you working on? Tell the people.
I am working on my tessellated vest.
Oh my goodness.
And it is going very well. Well, we did have some problems with the decreases.
Oh.
I don't know what was going on, but it wasn't lining up with what it said it was supposed to be doing. So I just kind of went with it, and I've ended up with the right amount of stitches at the end. So
okay.
It's not perfect, like, because you're carrying the yarn and there's some weird things happening.
Yeah.
But I think when I pick up the ribbing, I can
sandwich it in between, sort of. Yeah. I think that can be stabilized.
Yes. And it's kind of jagged, and I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be or if I did something wrong.
I don't know, but the good news is I can actually show you in future a fun series of tricks for this, including using a sloped bind off and a technique from Colorwork Knit Flat called vertical floats. And I can show you how to make that never happen again. So when we come to the fronts, we'll do it together, and I will show you some fun, nifty tricks.
I feel like there might be a mistake in my size, because now that I've finished the decreases, the pattern lines up again. So it seems odd.
Well, the other thing that could happen, and this does happen with design sometimes, is occasionally you grade and write for design without actually testing all of the sizes. No matter how hard you try, you could have a testing pool of 100 people and still end up with a size missed. Because
you're doing like a pattern, right, of slip stitches, and the way some of the decrease rows didn't line up with what I had. Like, she wanted me to slip when I should have been knitting, and vice versa.
Yeah, so that's normally because what's going to be happening there is the designer has taken to, and this is not a criticism of a specific designer, this is a statement about design, everyone. What happens is, in your head, you're considering that people are maintaining a stitch pattern, but this stitch pattern is worked over 2 dimensions. It's worked horizontally and vertically, but the vertical repeat and the horizontal repeat most likely don't coincide with the total number of stitches bound off over the total number of rows of all the decreases.
Yeah.
So that's usually what causes these sorts of unintentional misalignments in stitch and pattern counts.
Yeah, so I just ignored that part and bound off however many I was supposed to bind off, and it stayed in pattern.
Exactly.
So it wasn't like hard to figure out, but I was like, am I doing something wrong? But I think we got there.
Good.
So I'm really loving how it's
And so this is the Tessellated Vest by Andrea Mowry, and you're doing it in Fiber to Go Silk Mohair, Spin Cycle Valley Girl, and Labiana May Sport Nouveau in Anemone, right?
Which is this lovely purple hair.
So cute. So cute.
Yeah, so I've finished the decreases, and I'm working on the front, like up to here, and then I do the neck.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
And I did cast on my Alpine Bloom last night.
Yes.
But
show the people.
Well, I pulled it apart.
But you finished?
No.
No, okay, what happened? Tell them.
So the pattern says to use a long tail cast on, and most of the group last night did a long tail cast on.
Right.
But I think my long tail cast on is just not very neat.
Right.
And I wasn't very happy with it. So I pulled it back, and I think I'm going to do the cable cast on.
Does it go into, I haven't
No,
looked at
it
the
doesn't
pattern.
go into ripping. This is what's messed with my brain.
Okay.
So I was going to do alternating, then I was like, no, why am I doing this? I should just do regular.
Yes, and a cable cast on might not be the right choice because it's actually less flexible than a long tail cast on.
Okay, so she does recommend long tail, and then I think Judy's Magic is a stretchy one, I think. Maybe not.
I think we'll take a quick look at this together before I leave, and hopefully I can provide you with some answers. And this might also become a great video for the Flock Online, so there's always that.
Lots of the other ones looked great that people had done last night, so it might just be my long tail.
That's
it's
okay.
Not perfect. So.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
We can solve that.
But I can show you my colours.
Yes, hit them with the colours.
So I have Dear Diary, Dyed in the Wool.
So pretty.
And the
Teal.
high twist teal from Kiwi Yarna.
Kiwi Yarna.
Oh dear.
Very
Not
cute.
had enough coffee this morning.
That's okay. I've had enough for 4 people and I'm still drinking more.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this.
You should be. I think it's going to be beautiful. Well.
What are you working on?
Well, I'm currently working on my Elton. This is Elton by Hohi Locatelli. I'm partway through a sleeve row. I'm on the second sleeve. This is actually going really fast. Now, I didn't knit yesterday because I'm trying to take breaks, which is really healthy and good, and I feel much better today. So I'm glad that I took a break yesterday, although this is really fun to make. So I finished one sleeve. I ended up knitting the sleeves flat because I wasn't completely convinced, honestly, on a lot of things with the sleeve. I wasn't convinced on the pickups, which I'm still not thrilled about, even though I did them the same on both. It's just it's the nature of picking up out of 2 different texture yarns. It just creates some visual distortion that I'm not used to, but it is quite secure. Also, this isn't like a weight-bearing cardigan. It's very light and fluffy and easy. It's not like these seams are going to be under huge amounts of stress. So I don't really need to worry about it so much. The other thing about this that I do actually really enjoy is overall the ease of knitting. And initially when I finished the bottom ribbing, I thought I had to redo it because a lot of the mohair fluff got caught in the situation. But what I realized by pulling some of it out yesterday is once I clear the mohair out, which takes about 3 seconds to do like 5 stitches, the bind off is actually perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna go back and rip the fluff out of it. And to be clear, this most likely won't be a problem for most people. I have very sweaty hands most of the time. And I think while I was doing the bind off, because I was holding on to the main fabric of this, the mohair was getting stuck to my hands and then getting stuck. Because when you do a sewn tubular bind off, you Kitchener stitch to graft the stitches together. And I think it just got caught. So I think this is more of a me thing. And the good news is I don't have to redo the bottom ribbing, which is
Could you use a gleaner to get rid of the...
It's kind of caught, if you look right here, I'm just going to show Emily, it's caught in the actual bind off stitches, so I don't think so. But once you pull it away, it corrects pretty much instantly. So I think I just have to defluff my bind off, which is my own fault. Isn't the right word. It's just kind of one of those weird happenstances. The good news is I realized this was happening. So I wanted the sleeve ribbing looser than the body ribbing because of how my arms are shaped. So on this one, I actually thought it through. And what I did, and you can see that it was much more successful, is I actually washed my hands, and then I put gym or climbing chalk. I always have some at home. I actually chalked my hands, and then I cleaned the chalk off afterwards. So would not recommend, just for the record. It made quite a mess. I did it on the balcony. I'm always covered in chalk after the gym, so I just wore gym clothes and did it, but it did solve my problem, which is specific to me. I don't think the rest of you will have this come up.
Yeah.
Also, you can do a different bind off. I'm just obsessed with the sewn tubular bind off.
Yeah, I like that one.
So anyway, but this is racing right along. I do have other whips that I probably should be working on, but I feel like saying should be working on is no longer going to be part of my vocabulary.
Yes.
So they're just going to wait until I feel like working on them again. Yeah. And that's all there is to it. Plus, I'm feeling really inspired and excited by my own design process right now. And I think what I'm going to be doing next year is focusing on almost entirely knitting my own designs and getting more designs and a bigger pattern catalog ready for all of you. One of the first things that's coming up is I'm going to be doing a cable and lace drop shoulder pullover that I'm very excited about. It's a really simple cable and lace pattern. And the other thing that I'm going to be trying, I had a bit of a moment yesterday in the shower, which doesn't usually happen to me. That's not my good idea spot. But I did actually have a moment in the shower yesterday where I was thinking about this pullover, this cable and lace pullover, which I'm calling Summergate, breaking with my naming system for a very specific weird reason. Although I might change its name back. Right now its draft name is Summergate. I often name them and then change them. What I was thinking is, it's a lot of knitting. Like, it's a lot of knitting, especially for our larger bodied friends. And I decided to ask myself some questions about whether or not, if I was to write the 3 largest sizes with 2 different gauges, so that the overall proportion of the size of the cable and lace repeat remained more similar. I know this is really weird and esoteric and complicated, but I think that there's a way to, in the larger size range, offer both a fingering weight and a DK weight option, specifically so that our larger bodied friends are not having to do as much knitting to get a garment completed, especially if it's the first time that they're knitting one of my patterns. Oftentimes, no matter how well you grade, we need to make really specific modifications available to fat bodies because they require the same level of fitting and construction that we need on smaller bodies, and adding more ease to something isn't actually solving that problem. It's just giving more ease instead of allowing fat people to have access to tools to accurately shape a garment to their body. So I've come up with an idea that now I have to follow through on because I'm curious about it. And I'm going to create a toile pullover that you can knit really efficiently in a DK weight yarn, and hopefully then use that as a general sizing guide for all of my DK weight pullovers. So the goal here basically is, in the smaller size range for the toile pullover, I'm actually going to do it in fingering weight because I think it will give the best information over the relative to the total dimensions of the garment in the stitch size. And then in my 3 largest sizes, because I have a 9 size range, everybody, and I usually go up to about 140 to 155 centimeter bust. Just kind of depends on how much ease you like on your body. But what I'm going to do is make a drop shoulder design where the relative stitch size to the total dimensions remains even across all 9 sizes by, in the top 3 sizes, adjusting the yarn weight and making a commensurate adjustment to the stitch counts so that it should take roughly the same amount of time to knit the toile in each size. Complicated perhaps if you're sitting at home watching it, but I'm basically going to take my Catharsis pattern, my Catharsis pullover, and re-render that into a stockinette format and adjust the stitch counts and redo the grading to line up with a stockinette format. And then hopefully by doing that and making the 3 largest sizes in DK, everybody will be able to knit a great test drop shoulder pullover that you can use not just for my pullovers, but for any pullover that's a drop shoulder.
Wow. Is it going to be knit flat?
Yes.
So I could do it for Tonkin?
Yes, absolutely.
So you could put like color work charts into it?
Totally. I was really sitting there last night, and Jared Flood recently came out with a new pullover called the Lodge pullover that goes with his new bulky weight yarn. And I was looking at it and thinking about my designs and thinking about how those things relate to one another. And in this like weird brain alchemy that went on while I was in the shower yesterday, it occurred to me that there is a solution to the problem that I keep trying to deal with. Oh, you're very popular.
Sorry, no one ever calls me.
That's okay. We'll just let it ring. That's a good, like, people are gonna love this. Ooh, Emily, someone's looking for you. So anyway, the long story short is I'm gonna finish this, then I'm gonna start my Ewe Rock, and once this is done, I was gonna go back and finish my bibliophile. I'm not really feeling that at the moment. And instead, I'm gonna jump in on a bunch of other things that I would like to get done.
Nice.
Yay. So just refocusing and attacking things from a different perspective. And I think that's about it for me. That's what I've got going on. I'm basically constantly overhauling my design catalog with the goal of making garments that fit more people well. That's it.
Can I ask you a question about the Alpine Bloom that you might not be able to answer?
Yes, I will. Before you ask though, I should preface this with I haven't looked at it very carefully.
That's okay. So you start, it's top down, right? And you start with the lace at the neck. So that you cast on the edge and then work down.
Right.
So why can you not, when you come into the sleeves, why can you not knit the lace that way?
If you knit the same lace chart in one direction versus the other, you end up with a mirrored image, like the reflection in a pond.
So the curves will go the wrong way.
That's correct, yeah. So if you want lace edges to match up, generally the easiest way to do it is to cast them on and knit them downwards or upwards, depending on what direction you're thinking of. But usually it's easier to create a consistent lace edge from a cast on rather than a bind off.
Okay, so that's why they're different. So you can, because you're going down here and...
Yes, yeah. And then you'll probably marry them using Kitchener stitch grafting, I would assume. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was just a question that came up last night and we couldn't figure out why you could only do it.
No, that's what, if I was trying to do that particular treatment, that is the reason it would end up like that. Also, often, when designs used to have lace collars, you actually used to knit them flat and bind them off, and then completely sew them on. So I think it's probably a similar answer that has been done at the cuff here, except that because you're dealing with live stitches going downwards, it wouldn't make sense due to creating unwanted bulk right at this point of your arm to bind off the stitches, knit it flat and sew it on.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think overall it's a clever solution for trying to knit things top down with this sorts of edging. So if that's a thing that appeals to you. And also in Caitlin Hunter's design collection, if you look back over them, she has a pullover called Tanga, I'm pretty sure. It's like a t-shirt with lace around the hem. And I think it uses a similar scalloped shape to what I've seen on the Alpine Bloom. So the other thing is, oftentimes as a designer, I have ways that I approach things. So like, I'm not great at designing things seamlessly. I've been recently on a kick of trying to do it, and it turns out I'm just bad at it.
It's like how your brain works kind of thing. Or...
Yeah, I think for me, especially what occurred is when I started knitting garments, I had a very upsetting encounter with my first seamless garment and didn't really start experiencing success with garment knitting until I started knitting with seams. So I think in my head, when I think of garments, I just think of them seamed. And I think too as well, because I sew now also, it's easier to understand from line drawings and design schematics that way for me. Does that all make sense as why? So, but I'm saying, if I was doing this, I would do it a completely different way, where I think Caitlin is doing it the way that fits into what her customer, her design customer, expects from her, which I'm going to assume, not having knit more, I think I've only knit one of Caitlin's patterns, I'm going to assume most people would expect her designs to be seamless. So she is most likely attempting to meet that expectation by creating seamless patterns and finding solutions to make them fully seamless.
And I guess even though you're grafting, it's technically not seaming, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of skirts there.
Yes, and a lot of people do small amounts of grafting all the time, so the skill is probably much more developed in a broader knitting population today than seaming, where I would say earlier the skill of seaming was probably more developed than the skill of grafting, because largely grafting is used to close the toe of socks and or to close the little gaps that form at an underarm in a bottom-up yoked jumper. And I can't think of, and if you have another time where this could have been applied in the past that I'm not aware of, I can't think of many other circumstances where grafting, Kitchener stitch, whatever you want to call it, would be used to attach two pieces together. So I think that's kind of my assumption.
Yeah. Because I mainly use it for like binding off things.
Yes.
It's a very similar skill to that, right?
Yep, very, very similar. Yeah. I think I mostly use it for binding off and the toes on socks, although now I've gone back to knitting socks toe up because I prefer it, so hey, all bets are off. Amazing. We will be right back and we will hit you with some super fun and quick updates about what we have in store for you. Oh, yes. We're back. So, we have an Alpine Bloom knit-along running right now, along with a Ewe Rock knit-along. I took all my yarn home yesterday. Yeah. I finally got all of my yarn yesterday. It's all at home now. I'm so sorry. It's beautiful. I'm very excited. I can't wait to get going. Thank you to Diane and to Briar for bringing me the additional skeins that I need, because I did not leave the dyer or myself enough time to solve this problem. Yes. That is an Ethan issue.
So you're using a pretty pink fade?
I'm using a pretty pink fade with a soft green end to it, because it turns out that I love green, which I was not aware of.
Yeah.
So this is actually very exciting, and I really loved knitting Ewe Rock last time, so I'm kind of hoping that I love it this much this time.
I'm kind of tempted.
Yeah, it's a great shawl. It's super wearable. The tassels are so fun to make.
Yeah.
And I loved making it. Plus, I do have a couple of quick benefits to announce. So, yesterday, I started overhauling the way that people will interact with the Flock Online going forward. So the Flock Online is our online learning service in our community, where we host a lot of other videos and events and tips and tricks, and it's a very full-featured, completely inclusive website now. And it has a lot going on it every week, and you can opt in for as much or as little as you like. It contains our community section, and I will be frank, our numbers have dropped, but they are starting to come back up, which is very exciting for me. So to continue to encourage community growth, I am taking a break from Instagram and from some other things in my life so that I can focus more on fewer things and devote more of my time and energy to that, so that I can show up as a better version of myself. To help with that, one of the things I've done is, as part of this knit along, I'm kicking off the process of migrating all of the classes in the Flock Online from currently you pay for the classes to access them, which was a model set up when I was working for someone else, and it made a lot of sense at the time. It no longer makes as much sense because I now have a direct platform where I can sell my classes through our website, and we're gonna start doing that. As we start the process of preparing the class for general sale, I'm going to make that class available for free forever going forward to subscribers of the Flock Online. So when you go in, there will always be an option where you can pay for it or you can get it for free. I can't take down the old plan in this particular circumstance, and it gives you the choice. You can either take it for free, have the best time ever, or if you're feeling frisky, pay for it. I'll never be sad.
And also, if you pay for it, you get a permanent copy, is that right? Or not right?
So currently at this point in time, we have not gotten to the point where I have the permanent copies to go out. So for members who have already purchased the classes, as I get the permanent copies ready, I will send them to you so that you have them available forever. It'll be a video with a PDF, and it'll have all the same information in it. If you choose to purchase through the Flock Online, you then will also get that information. Those are not ready yet, to be clear. So if you decide to purchase it, currently you will not receive the download. However, when they become available, you will receive the download. And also, confusingly, we're gonna be offering the classes as single one-off purchases that you will get to keep forever through Get Flocked, our website.
So that you don't have to be a subscriber to get the class.
To get the class, yes. But subscribers will now get all of the classes, which is like a couple $1,000s worth of content.
Yeah.
So this is part of my goal to enrich what I'm doing with this community. And a big part, I think, of my goals involves all of you having more robust skill sets for what you want to be making. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not saying everybody should knit things the way I do. I'm not saying any of that, because this is going to come back to bite me no matter how I phrase this. And I know that now, which is why I've deleted Instagram. And so what I'm going to do here is you will be able to access all the classes over time. Right now, Brioche 301 is available to everyone. I personally think it's my best class. I've taught brioche a lot of times, and teaching it in this online sphere gave me a lot more control, so I was able to do things better. I hope you really enjoy the class, and if you have questions or want to join the Flock Online or anything else, you can find a link down below. Now, I'm making Elton. I'm loving it. It's gone super, super quick. We're having a bit of a mohair moment. And we think you should either make an Elton or something else with some beautiful mohair held together with one of our great base options.
One thing I've been eyeing up is Pink Fizz by Andrew Merritt.
Oh.
Because the lovely Diane that we mentioned
before
has made
Diane's version is so gorgeous.
It's really pretty. Yeah. And I might have, you know, ordered a colour specifically.
No.
I mean, shock.
What color do you want to start with, Emily? This one?
Should we start with the one I just talked about?
Is it this one?
Yes.
I think, unfortunately, this is not the right weight.
No. Okay. Oh well, I ruined it. So not for Pink Fizz, but you can make
Not for
something
Pink
else.
Fizz, but this is so beautiful together. So this is Blossom on Eden with, I'm assuming, blush on mohair silk. So Emily very helpfully has gone in and given the mohair silk color names because they just have numbers. I think it's called blush. And I remember because I find names that are direct descriptors of the color I see easier to remember than random numbers. So, blush and blossom are friends forever. Now, if you want to play on the dark side, there's black, and you might guess this, black. The blacks together, I think, are stunning.
Yes, and now is the time, summer, to knit in black if you want black.
If you want to see what you're doing, the days are long, the
lighter,
sky,
brighter.
Hit this out. This would make a stunning black on black Elton. And think of the possibilities of wearing this to work, to the office, to the opera, wherever you're going. A little black cardigan is honestly the knitter's version of a little black dress. Unless you're me, in which case it has to be a little pink cardigan because I made pink my neutral. Crazy, but we love. Also, just as a record, you could make the gothiest, witchiest love note known to mankind.
Ooh,
Not that I think you should knit love note, but if you want to,
and this is
cool.
Kiwiana, if we didn't say
Yes, sorry, this is Kiwiana sock. Let's keep the Kiwiana high twist rolling with denim and navy. Oh, this is a personal fave. I've been looking at this more and more. What I love about this is the tonality and semi-solid nature of the denim, I think will give a really beautiful contrast to the solid deepness of this, and I just think it'll be really beautiful together.
Yes.
So that's another great choice. Again, Kiwiana high twist sock. Now, let's go down a bit of an Aspen adventure for the not at all dark horse best seller.
No, I did get this right.
Yes. So the last time that we got this mohair in, this was our best seller. Toffee. And we think you should put it with hickory. Also, a woolen spun will give you an even further textural difference in the stripe, and I think it will make a very stunning textural contrast, which is really exciting.
Yes.
Now, after that we have cream. Beautiful. So this is the Eternity 4-ply in white quartz, and it's just they're warm, they're rich, they're subtle neutrals.
It has almost like a glow to the core.
The silk does actually have a glow. So because of how this is constructed, the silk core, that sheen that people often talk about that they love from knitting with silk mohair or from the alpaca boucle is from the silk core of the yarn. You do actually see it quite clearly through the haze, and it is beautiful. This would make, I don't know if any of you have anybody who's going to be like a flower girl in a wedding or any weddings coming up, but
bolero-y thing?
Yeah, honestly, even just a really cropped Elton, like a wide boxy cropped Elton over like a simple wedding dress would be really beautiful. Also, the Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry, which I've been, I will admit, I've been weirdly obsessed with that pattern for years, and I haven't knit it because I usually have not enjoyed knitting with mohair in the past, which I've only done twice before, and both times it was not a great experience. This time I'm having a great time, but I think I might have bought much better quality mohair.
Yes.
Sorry, Rowan.
I also bought yarn from Yarn Fleece for the Birds of a Feather.
Yeah, so good.
I'm quite excited.
So good. Ashley 4-ply in Ocean with Ocean. Thank God that you did this. It's perfect. We love, if you love blue, just do it. Don't think. Don't think, just buy. And let's hit the autumns as a double whammy, shall we? Mostly because while they go perfectly together like this, if you switch the mohairs, they're also still super, super cute. No, thank you. But we love all of these. These last colors that we showed you were all in the Ashley 4-ply. And if you need help picking colors for anything or just want some advice on patterns or stuff like that, feel free to send us an email. We're getflockedknitting@gmail.com. And don't forget, our knit-alongs run this time till the end of the year. Now last and not least, if you participated in Flocktober 2023, which are Flocktober winners, I don't think we've actually announced on this podcast. So we're going to announce the Flocktober winners. And if you participated in any way, shape, or form, please get in touch with us. We should have had a much less messy way of doing this, but we're messy people, and this is a new business. And look, hey, we remembered to do this, and that's all. So we made really cute participation labels for everybody who participated. We're so grateful for all of our flockers.
You won't be able to read them, but
yeah,
you can sew a little label into your Flocktober project.
And what does it say?
It says, I entered Flocktober 2023 and all I got was this lousy label.
It's actually a very cute label, but
hey,
yeah. People will never guess where you got it from. So anyway, thank you for participating in Flocktober 2023. Our winners are as follow. In the crochet category, Janet MacDougal for crochet dress, which was super cute. I saw it in person yesterday. It was so good to catch up with Janet. It was honestly such a treat. Then, in the Ronnie Denekamp for Circadian Pullover, one for the Alicia Plummer category. I actually got that right. It's a fucking miracle. And last and certainly not least, in our Stephen West MKAL category, which included any previous MKAL shawl, Troy Smith took it away with his absolutely stunning building blocks, which was also the first one done. So not only was he the first one done, but he made a really difficult shawl and he made it look really damn good. So he definitely deserved that win. Now we also had spot prizes.
We did.
Which I have unilaterally decided we're keeping these same ones forever because it was so much fun this year.
Can I go get the things to show them?
Yes. Is there still one here?
Yes.
Oh, so our spot prizes this year came with a slightly smaller prize, if you will, than the others, but a much more satisfying thing. And you are not required, but it is heavily suggested that you wear this to all Get Flocked events.
I'm going to pretend I won.
Yeah. So this was our one for
sash.
biggest risk, which we awarded to the person who we felt took the biggest risk with their knit. So our very good friend Val Snow, she jumped in on this to do an Alicia Plummer pullover called Folk Story, and she completely adjusted how to knit it, changed the pattern, played with the size. What she did was brilliant, and so we decided to award Val biggest risk. For most improved, which is our prize for our beginner knitter of the year, we awarded it to fellow business owner and very good friend and also prize provider, the lovely Corentin Esquenet from Butter. And so that was super fun. He knit an entire jumper in a month, and he just really started knitting this year. It was insane.
He did one of the Bibliophiles?
Bibliophile 3 by Alicia Plummer in Hedgehog Fiber Tweedy in Moonlight.
So pretty.
Boom. Last, and certainly, in my opinion, not least. So, I love the film Miss Congeniality, and I'm not ashamed, okay? I love it. And so, we have a lot of very independently spirited, different people in our group. And so I decided, and whether or not I awarded this to a male or a female, I was calling it Miss Congeniality. So everybody better get over that real quick. I decided to do Miss Congeniality for the person who best represented the spirit of Flocktober as defined by me. And I awarded it to the absolutely wonderful Mary Sherrif, who I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe is the only person who attended every single knit night in every single Flocktober event. Which is
And she's just so
amazing.
good at cheering people on and
Yeah,
giving them advice.
She just made...
helping us out.
Yeah, she made it such an engaging and enriching experience and helped us to manage our insane levels of fatigue while we were doing it. And yeah, so we were very grateful for how much the community, not just our local community, but our broader online community as well, showed up for this. I think a lot of times in knitting, the word community lately has been thrown around more and more and more. And oftentimes people are referring to this large amorphous online, digitally based global community. I just want to be clear, when I say community, I mean specifically the people that I directly touch with my life. And if you're somebody who we touch as somebody, this is sounding more and more inappropriate, but if you're somebody who comes into our shop or somebody who participates with us in our online space, we do consider you actively a member of our community. And when we're discussing community, we're talking about all of you. So thank you for making our very first special event such a wild success for a new business. It was insane, the turnout, the participation, everything. And it reminded me, I can't speak for Emily, who might want to cut me off at any moment here, but it reminded me that what we are doing here in this direct space has to be the focus of what we do. And I'm really, really proud of what we are building. So yeah.
I was just going to say, I forgot to say about the labels. So if you're in Christchurch, you can just come and get one whenever you're next here. If you're not in Christchurch, we can add one to your next online order if you just add a note, or we can work
just
it out
add a note or flick us an email and we'll get it sorted.
Yes.
Last and not least, a quick couple of things about next year. Next year, there's not going to be one Flocktober month-long crazy. There's going to be two. I don't think we've fully settled on a name, although I think the nitty-gritty is a possibility. Or the gritty-nitty. I haven't really decided. Nitty-gritty. We'll figure it out. But from April 4th to May 4th, you're all going to participate in my annual personal challenge. So every year from April 4th to May 4th, I knit myself a jumper. And I actually did work it out. I knit myself Glowfly this year.
Yes.
So every year I knit myself a jumper. And next year, for my birthday, I knit myself lots of jumpers, but I knit myself a jumper for my birthday because no one ever knits me anything really, except for Bibi, who has knit me several things, which I love.
Crocheted you something.
You did crochet me something.
But you can't wear it.
No, and sometimes I have it sitting on my desk.
I think we need some repeal.
Yeah, occasionally the head just pulls the rest of the body, and it's just kind of like, ah, like a stockbroker in 1929. Anyway, we're going to be doing a knit along together. I'm going to be designing a pullover for this particular thing. It is going to be, brace yourselves, knit flat. I also want to stress, I'm not sorry about what I'm about to do to all of you. If you decide to knit my pullover, it is a fingering weight cabled pullover. Yeah, so you should just know that's what's going to be happening.
Yes.
All of these things are going to be coming up at that time period, and I'm super, super excited to see where we get to by then.
And we also have a year-long knit-along?
We do. We have a year-long blanket knit-along that's going to be happening starting in March and running all the way to the end of the year for the Slip Stitch Extravaganza blanket or shawl by Stephen West. Kits will be coming up soon. Please don't worry. You don't need to plan. We've done all the planning for you. We'll either A, tell you how to stash die for it, or B, we'll have kits to purchase. And the kits that I've planned so far are pretty spectacular, so you're going to want to get in on that. All right, that was a lot of news and information. This is, I think, going to be one of our longer episodes. Thank you for coming to hang out. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you back here next week.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, no, I did it again, everyone. I exited the thing without, oh, this is going to be a long one. This is going to be like a 40-minute podcast.